The MV Rena was moved at a speed of 17 knots when it grounded on Astrolabe Reef off the coast of New Zealand on October 5, 2011, during a voyage from Napier to port of Tauranga. At the time, the ship was carrying over 1,300 containers and 1,733 tons of heavy fuel. What resulted became the country's worst maritime environmental disaster, which took years to clean up. The authorities launched an operation about a possible leakage of oil products. The tanker Awanuia pumps oil from the sunken ship on October 17. The Awanuia was eventually forced to shut down due to bad weather, but in the end there was a major oil spill. The cause of the shipwreck was the captain's and crew's failure to comply with proper voyage planning, navigation and watch keeping, as well as insufficient control of the ship's captain over the ship's safety management system. As a result of the accident, about 200 tons of fuel oil were spilled, and a significant number of cargo containers were thrown overboard. A few days later, it was decided to unload the container ship in every possible way to relieve the pressure. With the onset of bad weather, the Rena began to list heavily, and her cargo racks collapsed, causing several containers to fall into the water. 12th of October, Rena received a crack in the middle part of the ship's hull. November 23. At this point, almost all containers were removed from the stern. Later it turned out that there were 21 more containers with dangerous goods on board, which were not listed in the ship's manifest. In the early morning of January 8, the Rena's hull broke in half when the ship hit the ship with strong waves up to 6 meters high. There were 830 containers left on board at the time, and it is estimated that around 200 to 300 were lost overboard when it broke in half. On January 10, the Rena's stern slid off the reef and began to sink. Here it is moments before it sank, with a lot of debris in the surrounding waters. A few hours later, on January 10, Rena's bridge was almost completely submerged. The contents of refrigerated containers had to be unloaded manually. Strong unrest led to the rapid destruction of the aft part within 24 hours. In May 2012, rescue cranes lift containers and fill up the bow of the Rena. Rescue operations to eliminate the wreckage of the ship continued for several more months. In early September, a piece of the bow broke off due to a strong wave. On October 1, 2012, the owners of MV Rena, the shipping company Dyna Shipping, were ordered to pay $22 million to settle a number of claims against the government and several public authorities and other. None of the crew members were injured. The captain and second officer were sentenced to 7 months. And this tragedy has left its mark. And again, our nature suffers in all this. Thanks for watching to the end. Subscribe to see more. 7 feet under the keel.